Hey, this is Lee from Tams Group, and you're listening to Rockin' the Boat. So one of the places we've actually just called home is North Fremantle in Rousehead. So we've taken over a block of land there, which was the old IFAP site. Had a big swimming pool in it where they used to do helicopter escape training. Unfortunately, it's no longer a swimming pool, and we've converted that swimming pool into our warehouse where we'll move our ropes and our diving operation in. But yeah, it's quite an interesting and exciting time for us. We've been intermittently homeless really in terms of that marine side in Freo for a few years now. So to be able to bed this one down is actually really, really exciting for us. But with that comes all the construction challenges. So as part of moving into that site, we're moving our head office in there as well. So a full rip out of the office there, what was training rooms, and make it a fully functioning office with a couple of meeting rooms. Obviously the swimming pool is now unfortunately gone, despite us not getting a chance to have a pool party before we did that. Filled that with concrete, and then the actual site itself, we've had to remediate that. So there was some contaminated land just from old firefighting training that was done back in the day. So we've excavated that, put a good concrete pad down, and we'll put a couple of dome shelters in there as well. But I suppose where we're really excited, I suppose, is just on that marine side of things. So we're actually building a heavy lift wharf that will go in there. The heavy lift wharf is, ultimately for our own operation, but we're able to put a 250 ton crawler crane on there, and then use that to basically load out and mobilise for projects. So say for example, if we're going to drive piles to install a nav aid, a lot of that work can be mobilised from that Freo shore base, whereas in the past we've had to go to someone else's site. So again, just brings that facility in-house. So that's what we're currently doing at the moment. So driving the piles in, and then once the piles are in, the headstocks will go on. And then once the headstocks are on, then we'll be able to put the concrete panels on there, and then do all the electrics and the plumbing to basically make sure that all our vessels that we've got there can have power and water supplies. A few challenges whenever you do piling work that we're seeing at the moment is when you're driving a pile, and especially if it's going to be for a heavy load-out wharf, it needs to hit a resistance, so it basically stops going into the ground. Some of the areas where we're piling at the moment has a lot of soft ground, so the pile just keeps going and going and going. And I'll see. So once your pile's only so long when you start driving that thing, so you get down to a stage where you're still not hitting the resistance. Then it's a case of get another pile, stick it on top, weld it in or splice, and then drive the pile. Obviously, the more pile that you've got going into the ground, the more expensive it is. Obviously, it takes time to drive that pile, but also the steel work as well. So, we don't like it when the piles keep going, especially when it's our own base, because it's ultimately something that we're paying for, not the client. So that's going really well. Weather in Perth has hampered that. So when you're driving a pile, so we're doing it off a barge at the moment. So you've got obviously a floating piece of equipment. We've got a crane on that barge, and then you have a big hydro hammer that's basically attached to that. So best way to describe it is you've got a crane with then a big cylinder item on the end of that crane. So obviously if it's blowing a gale, you can't use that crane work, so you are constrained by the weather. It's been interesting for the office workers, that's for sure, being on site. Always on site for this one. So you're trying to work away, and all you hear is bang, 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 bang. So definitely for the office workers, an appreciation of what the guys have to put up with when they're out piling on site. That's for sure. Also as well, just they realise just how much vibration actually goes through the site. So you're sat at your desk, and you can actually feel your desk moving from where the hammer is banging these piles in, which is a unique experience, I suppose, for the office workers on that one. But no, it'll be a really good facility, and again, it just really improving that infrastructure that we've got in Rousehead. There's a couple of good projects which are coming up within the Perth metro area. The Freo rail bridge is obviously one of the ones that's public at the moment. We'll be putting our hands up to assist on that one as well. The facility that we'll have in Rousehead will give us the ability to be able to do heavy lifts on and off to barges. So if they're driving piles, or even if the way that they go in terms of their design, if there's concrete or anything else that needs to go out, we'll largely be able to do everything from that site. And it's, especially from the Freo rail bridge perspective, it's literally only just up the harbour, so we'll be able to tow any barges there, load it out onto the site, and then the guys will actually be able to assist with construction.
Bye.